It's a real thriller when I drill ya. Cross breath, ghost figure in the still mirror. Hands silent, words deadly, I'm a quill spiller. Shadow step, glide clean like a chess bishop. Catch you on your queen side, make the board hiccup. Smoke in the mirror, my reflection got a great and bigger. Death in my voice, even whispers make your skin shiver.
What's crack-a-lackin', y'all? It's your boy, the Rinnegan, back at it again with another episode of First We Beatz. Tonight, we're gonna do something a little differently. Normally, I'm making a beat. Normally, I'm cooking up, doing a live streaming and all that stuff. But tonight, I want to try something different. I want to talk about some things that are going on in the hip-hop world, or in music in general. And I think there are topics that need to be discussed, situations that need to be discussed, and there's a lot of conversation and debate on social media when it comes to cooking up beats, making tracks, making songs, whether you're a hip-hop artist or an artist in general or a beat maker. There are a lot of things that are bothering, irking people, and some of it highly controversial. Thank you. Pardon me on that. And we need to address this shit. So without further ado, let's get to it. So topic number one for discussion, we need to start off with, is it a red flag when producers only make their own melodies? I'm going to say that again. Is it a red flag when producers only make their own melodies? I don't think so. I don't think it's a red flag. I think it's somebody who's highly confident in their abilities. But can it be a problem down the line? Yeah. I think it just has to be. Let's just break it down like this. If I'm a producer and I'm confident in making my own melodies, and say if I have an artist come in and like, hey, I need you to make me a beat, I want it to sound like this, I want it to be closer to this type of genre, so can you make me a beat like that? Sure. And, oh, but can you sample this? Well, what do? Do you just sit there and be like, nah, man, I ain't sampling none of that bullshit. Let me just show you what I do. I'll make a melody as close to that as possible. I think that could be an issue because I think that invites confrontation, and I think that's going to irk some people the wrong way. And I think the best way to approach such a situation is to give them options. Options matter. When you're an engineer, a producer, beat maker, and you want to please a client, and if you want them to be steered to a direction that you're trying to get them to, that you're trying to get them to follow you, because I'm going to tell you, there's going to be an artist, and they're going to have an entourage, they're going to have a manager, and they're going to be breathing down your fucking neck, and they're going to be just calling, they're going to say your name wrong, and they're going to be at your fucking heels and right on your back pockets, and they're going to be like, yo, man, it doesn't sound like the way that I want it to sound. And that's a problem. So you don't want to be confrontational. You want to compromise, and a lot of things in the studio industry, like, making beats for others, especially when they're in person or it's not in person, you want to compromise. And the best way to compromise is to give them options. So what you do is you do the sample, you cook it up, but you got to charge, so you just let them know that's going to cost some money, because you're not only giving them an option to do the sample, sample say a song from another, and you gotta chop it. You gotta fucking twist the sound. You gotta completely change it up a little bit because you don't want to get flagged on YouTube or any other streaming service. Copyright issues and all that stuff. So you gotta do a lot of hoodoo, magical stuff to making sure that sample is on point, and you gotta make it your own. So you give them the option. So you give them what they want first. And then you do something that you feel is better. So you give them option number 2, which is your vibe. And you do everything you want to do under the sun. And this is where it's critical. Option three. Option three is you do a mix of both. Give them a sample, give it a little bit of your vibe, and you send them three options. Option A, B, and C. All right? You give them A, B, and C. They're not going to know which one is the one that you they're not going to know unless you tell them. I mean, you can obviously tell them if you want. But try it. Try it with different, you can try it one way, we're not telling them, and then another client you could do it telling them that option B is the one that you asked for, and option A and option C are different. It's without the sample and one with the sample and with the other flavors on there. Artists or clients or whoever you're doing this project for, they love options. It gives them a path to assess all of the things that are on the table. And I think that's the best way to get what you want and to get what they want, is somewhere meeting in the middle. Because if you are just being super adamant about something, like, no, this is trash, no, that sample sucks, or I got something better, let me just show you what I'm doing, no, that's confrontational. And in this industry, you got to be nice. You have to be nice sometimes, and there are other times where you can't be nice. You have to be a little bit more firm. Don't be a dick, but I think in this case, you got to be a little nicer. You gotta act correct, because artists are fickle. They're sensitive, whether you want to admit it or not. They're sensitive as fuck, and there's a lot of hand holding, and that just is what it is. So you gotta be careful. So you just always got to keep it in mind that when dealing with an artist, you have to really, it's a lot of hand holding, not physically, but you get what I'm saying. So just meet them in the middle, and you will find that is the best path forward, with no confrontation, no headbutting. And I've had to deal with managers and people who are backseat quarterback in a session, and that's annoying as fuck. Because listen, at least for me, as an engineer, if I'm or a producer, like I engineer, I produce, I do all the. Sometimes you gotta just do everything. But in this particular case, I'm deep in engineering, mixing, mastering, production. I've worked with artists all over, and I know how to navigate the hip hop scene, as far as making hip hop beats, working with hip hop artists, and I just know those things, and I've just been so ingrained in it. I know how to work with them. I know what they want. I know what they're looking for when they're not even looking for it, or even they don't even know to look for it. Because I'm an MC. Like, I rap. I got songs, and I remember when I was starting out, I would go into a studio, and I got my I got my MP3 of a beat. I don't even got no stems at the time. I just had an MP3 of a beat, and I got my rhymes, and I'm in the studio, I'm in the booth, and I'm like, I'm rapping, doing my verses, I do my hook, I do all that shit, and then like I'll look at the engineer and be like, yo, what you think? How are we vibing? And he just gives me a thumbs up. That's no, fuck out of here. I feel like that's real, like they're not really engaging it. Maybe I sucked. I didn't think I did. I didn't think I was whack, but who knows? But I do know this, when I was engineering, like, fast forward a little bit, I decided, what, I want to engineer. I want to engineer other artists. I want to do this the right way. And so when I have an artist, and at this time, like, I'm collaborating with a lot of artists and a lot of producers, and I'm collaborating because that's a really good way to get your feet wet. Collaboration is key. It sharpens your tools, it sharpens everything about you as an artist. And so I'm engineering, I got an artist, and they're rapping or they're singing, and they ask you, like, yo, what you think? And I'll tell them, like, hey, you know what, like, for instance, a singer, like you're off key, you need to get closer to the mic. You need to look here. I'll show you. You need to be right here. You need to be 3 inches from the mic. You need to, and when you project, you need to tilt your head back a little bit. I coach them in there. I'm engaged, and I think that's what an artist wants is engagement. They want their engineer to engage, and so I try my best to engage with the artist, and you know, even offer something more than just just thumbs up, and fuck that. That's it feels so lazy in my opinion. I want to be involved. I want to show you that like you're not alone in this, and I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you through it. I'm gonna walk you through it. Cause some artists don't know what the fuck they're doing. This is their first time rapping, first time emceeing, or even if a seasoned vet, that maybe they're not seeing something. Feel free to offer like, hey, try it this way. And a lot of the times, an artist will be very open with that. Some they'll be like, nah, I like it this way. I've definitely had an artist where they're super anal about how their vocals are supposed to sound, how they like this and how they like that, and the way to navigate that, those individuals that are very, 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 very adamant, very OCD about their shit. You just give them what they want, and then give them an option. Artists love options. Show them that there's another path. Give them what they want first, and then to show them what you can do, and that is the best way to keep from heads butting all the time. And it also shuts some of these entourage people up, and they'll shut the managers up, and and especially if you're starting out as an engineer and you're trying to work with other artists, and artists are very arrogant. They're very pompous. They think they're the shit. They think they got this and got that going on, and we all know it's bullshit. So, but you gotta handhold a little bit. You gotta lead them the way. You gotta show them the path. You gotta be nice. You gotta be nice. You gotta be kind. Kindness goes a long way in working with other individuals, especially. So I guess to answer the question, to wrap up that first topic is it a red flag? Yes and no. It's a red flag only if you're not willing to give them what they want. And customer's always right, pretty much. And so if you want to showcase your stuff, don't be a dick. Give them what they want, give them what they paid for, and then give them a blend of both. So just the rule of three, just give them 3 options. One that they want, the one that you want to show them, showcase your shit, and then do a third one with a blend of both. All right? And that way they get 3 options. And this is going to show them, this is going to tell that artist, oh, this person cares. This person really is invested in what I'm doing. He actually wants to see me succeed, so he's giving me a little bit extra. And that helps a long way. It buys you goodwill, so to speak. So, all right. Let's try, let's see what else. I got some topics written down, and all right, so topic number 2. What happened to intros and outros and skits in hip-hop? Oh, that's a good one. All right, y'all. Listen. We need to bring longer intros, outros, and we need to bring skits back into music, period. Whether it's rock, metal, hip-hop, it doesn't matter what genre. There needs to be intros, there needs to be outros, and there needs to be skits. Okay? I love them. I don't like it when there are people who just be like, oh man, intros are too long. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty. I want the song to start already. Those are TikTok motherfuckers. Those are people who have low attention spans. Listen, a song is like a meal. It's a story. It takes you on a journey from beginning, middle, and end. And also, bridges are key. Whatever happened to bridges? I think bridges are important. We need more bridges in songs. There's not enough of it. And especially with today's music, that what you're hearing on the radio, hearing on Spotify, just doesn't really matter the streaming platform. I'm seeing like a lot of artists, veering away from doing intros and outros. They just want to do 2 minute songs, and that's not a song. That's a snack, and a lot of calories and no substance, and that sucks. It's sad, you know. And you don't gotta do a full album. I think you should just go with your gut and how you feel, and you do a song. Like, for instance, do an album song. Try this, especially when you're having issues with ideas and you're running out of ideas. Do an album song, and what I mean is, do a skit in the beginning of the song. Then do a skit, do an intro. So like skit, intro, straight to the verse or chorus, how you want it. Do a bridge, do an outro, and then do a skit at the end if you want. Do an out to a whole album song. Think of a theme or a vibe, and just run with it and try that out. But I think, for me personally, I love intros. I love outros. I love doing skits. That's how I got into voiceover. Is I'll do a hip hop record. I did a hip hop album called League of Assassins. You can find that on Bandcamp. It's just Bandcamp. Just type in League of Assassins LOA, and it's a movie. It's like a movie album. Literally just a complete album theme of assassin type shit. So skits, there's voiceover stuff that I done, and there's also another album I did that's recent. It's called the Smooth Album, by my hip hop group called Rhyme Disciples, and check that out on Bandcamp. Just go on bandcamp.com/rhyme disciples, and you'll see Smooth, SMOOVE, and that's a good example of an album with skits, intros, outros, and so you understand what I'm talking about. And they're hip hop records. They're hip hop as fuck. The League of Assassins ones, I think it's a little, it's from like 2014 or whatever, and the Smooth is way more recent. And so check out Smooth. But those are two good options to just just to show you that it's intros, outros. It makes a song have fun. You want to have fun. Just 2 minute records are just boring, and they're lifeless. And once they start, they've already ended, and it's repetitive as fuck. A lot of it's repetitive, and a lot of it's that they all sound the same. A lot of these songs in the industry now they just sound the same. They're not. There's no soul in it. You could say they're soulless. They're soulless records. Sure, they could be chart topping, but can you really trust the chart topping? Can you really trust it? Can you really trust that it's topping the charts? Like, I mean, who's to say that they're not botting it to the top? Paying a service to bot the song, and just fill it with fake plays, fake streams, and just botting it to the top. And is it really that good? I don't think so. I'm looking for songs that are just they've got a story, and I think right now people have gone away from like story records that just they have a beginning, middle, and end. Nowadays, songs are just 2 minutes, done. That's it. Move on. You want to give the artist a meal. You want to give them something worth that $1.50. So give them the whole fucking enchilada. All right. It's just intros, outros. They're important. They're vital in hip hop, especially in hip hop. There was always skits back in the 90s. There was always skits in the 80s. There was skits in the fucking early 2000s. But now it's like non-existent. I don't know what those executives are doing. I don't know who you're listening to or who is in your ear. If you're doing 2-minute records, why? Who's telling you that shit is hot? Because it's not. It's whack, and we're not getting enough. We're not getting enough. Fill up those records. Fill every ounce of sound in those songs. You know what I'm saying? Intro, skits, outros, bridges, and do wilds. Fill out every part of that song. And what I mean by wilds is you have your verse, you have, you rap over your verse twice. That way you have two more recordings of the same verse, and then you do maybe vocal line. You stack them up under that, put them a little bit low, then you bring down the fader a little bit on those, and then do your ad libs. That means you're repeating every other word, and then you pan them left, and then you pan another one right. And then the wilds, where you do, what's his name? Fuck, I forget his fucking name. This is unfair. Fuck. Okay, Busta Rhymes does it all the time. But there's another one. E40. There we go. E40 does wilds all the time. He just adds he'll say random shit on a record, and he'll put it up underneath the ad-libs. Just like effects, voice effects. He'll just do crazy shit, whether it's, like, even Old Dirty Bastard did that shit, from Wu-Tang. Like there's different artists that'll add these like wilds up under the tracks, and when you do that, you're filling out the record. A lot of these records nowadays are too produced. They're overproduced, and it's just, and what I mean like overproduced, like sonically overproduced. You need less is always more when you're making a record. Less is always more. But when you need to give more, it's those intros, those outros, those skits, those bridges, and make them good. A good bridge gotta be catchy. It's gotta be melodic. Whether you're chanting or singing it or rapping it, it's gotta have you locked in. I think a lot of these artists don't have the writing skill and the writing capability to even do it nowadays. I think you have to really dig. I think you have to really find artists that actually do that. If you're trying to find an artist and you're not finding them, you're not digging deep enough. You're not digging far enough. You have to really scour. You have to scour the internet, because they're out there, and just give them a shot, give them a chance. They're out there, and yeah. So that's my 2 cents on intros, outros, skits, bridges. I think it's important. We need to bring them shits back, and you're gonna thank me later, because trust me, if you're an artist right now, you're hip hop head, or you're a R&B singer or whatever, dude. Seriously, do an album song, skit, intro, verse, hook, verse, bridge, hook, outro, maybe a skit at the end if you want that. You don't have to, it's optional. Just trust your ears, trust the vibe and all that. Alright, let's go with the next topic. What do we got here? What do we got? Is sampling a skill / art form? Listen, sampling is most definitely an art form. It is most definitely a skill. There's too many producers, beat makers of old and new that know how to sample. It is most definitely an art form. You gotta time stretch them bitches. There's no need for discussion. Sampling's an art form. It is most definitely a skill. And I don't want to hear nobody saying otherwise, because it's a fucking skill. And if the ones that know how to weave them in, it's some of the most beautiful, beautiful records have samples on them. Some of the most amazing ones. Okay, don't we don't need to just. If you know hip hop and you know what I'm talking about, you know who the producers are, you know who the beat makers are. Sampling is an art form. We don't need to go further than that. It's an art form. Not a hot take, it's a fact. And if you disagree, I'm sorry, but you need to go back to class and listen and not, and not sleep through the lecture. All right. Next one. Rappers charging producers to MC on their beats. Yo, what the fuck? Rappers charging producers to MC on their beats. What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? Usually it was the other way around, that like producers are like, yo, you gotta pay me if you want to get on my beats. You gotta do. Now it's the other way around. Don't get it twisted. Fuck up out of here. I don't think rappers should be charging beat makers for nothing. And I don't think beat makers should be charging for nothing. I think beat makers and rappers, they need to collab together and practice good sense business. Learn the business. Listen, say you're a rapper, you got an idea for a song. Find a producer that you like, that you know, and this is how it's going to happen. Find a producer that you like, that you know, and that you have a good working relationship with. And that's gonna be a big battle for you, because a lot of producers you like may not be your friend, or they may not know you like that. But get your business sense up. Get your business sense. So I'm gonna lay you down an easy path. Okay, for me, I've got a lot of producer buddies. Okay, I've developed and nurtured relationships. You need to develop and nurture relationships. Be solid. Be respectful, be kind, and scratch their back, they'll scratch you, scratch your back, and like connection, So, for instance, collaborate is key. So find a producer you want to collaborate, and good businesses go 50-50 with them. They'll make the beat, you write the verses. And try to figure out a way to do a 50-50 situation. Invest in your shit. They'll invest in you. Find a good working relationship with them. Like I'll find a producer. I got a producer that I work with all the time. And I'll shoot him a beat because I produce. And I'll be like, hey, look, I got this beat that I cooked up. Let me throw this to you because I think you would wreck this. And we'll be like, all right, for sure. And then they'll throw me a beat, thinking that they'll be like, oh yeah, I think you could wreck this, and then just start throwing beats at each other, and then be like, hey, get on this record with me, and then they'll be like, all right, for sure, and they'll get on a record with you, and then vice versa, get on a record with them. Start a working relationship. Music is meant to be collabed. As far as the business side of things, just do 50-50. That's simple. It allows one side to feel like they got something and the other feel like they got something. I would do 50-50. Just work out something that, that's amicable. Be fair. You don't want to be a dick. Be like, you know what? Like, just my shit. Rappers shouldn't be, like, rappers, you can charge. Charge for a verse. Like, say you have another artist that wants to work with another artist. Sure, you can charge. But, like, I got an opinion, man. Listen. If you're a chart topping artist and you got numbers and you got people looking at you, listening and buying your shit, and there's an artist that's not known at all and he wants to collab with you, that artist that got numbers, that actually doing this shit for a living, they can charge. Alright, they can charge for sure. And they can charge whatever they want because they're successful at it. But with an artist that ain't got shit going on for him, and then another artist that ain't got shit going on for him, y'all should not be charging each other for shit. Y'all should be collaborating and cultivating a working relationship. Music is meant to be collabed. Do a service for service type of thing. Like, look, I'll shoot you a verse, shoot me a beat. You know, you shoot me a verse and I'll shoot you a beat. Or I'll shoot you a verse and you shoot me a verse on another song. Work out a deal like that, because not all the time you're going to be able to make money physically with another artist. Like, you know, some artists be like, hey, I don't really got money like that. I don't got it right now. I just paid the bills. It was the first of the month yesterday and I'm fucking all out. Like, I'm cleaned out. So, but I really want to work on the song with you. Is there any other way that, you know, we can work this out? And be kind, be respectful, you know, be honest and be candid. Don't be a dick. And just communicate. All right? So, listen. Now, I got to talk to you about something. Speaking of red flags earlier, this is a ginormous red flag. Listen, I had a song that I've been working on, and there was an artist, and I'm not gonna say this artist's name. We don't need to. All right, we don't need to. Just this alone is all you need to know. I had a song that's dope as fuck. I sent it off to the artist and be like, hey, I want to do a collab with you. You know, I think you would fucking murder this. I made this song with you in mind to get on it. I think you would murder it. And we already have a working relationship already. All right. This is an artist that I've been working with for a while on other projects, on other things. And I put projects his way that he's been wanting to do for a long time. And I hooked him up. I showed him a path. And so I'm like, bet, let me cash a chit. So like, I have a song. Let me see what's what. So I sent him the song, and he was like, yo, this song is fire. I'm definitely getting on this record. I'll fucking get it to you. Send me the beat. I got the beat. Send it. Boom. It's in your email. Let me know. And then, you know, and mind you, let's put a pause. Mind you, this cat told me months ago, way back, any verse you need, I'm not gonna charge you for nothing. Any verse you need, I got you already. Like, I got memory. Remember these things. I got memory. So I was like, oh well, I've never asked him to get on a song, like, ever. This is just one song. And I'm like, you know what? Let me get him on this record, because I know that this record is dope. The song is fire. I already got another artist to get up on it, because I'm really into having posse records. You know, having 4 MCs on a record. I love that shit. I love doing like Wu-Tang style records where you have like, you know, two artists on like on the first and second, and then another 2 artists on the third and the fourth verse, like no hook. And but this song had a hook, so like it was gonna be 3 artists on this, and it was gonna be sick as fuck. And it still is now, and it's still, like, I'm still working on it now, and I got another artist that's coming in. It's gonna, I just, you know, let me skip out to the story, because I know I'm all over the place. So I sent him the beat, he got the beat, and I'm waiting a few days later, and then he hits me with like, because I hit him up like, hey man, how's it going? You know, that song's fire, right? You know, just hit him up. I didn't even ask him like, hey, have you done it yet? I said, hey, bro, I've been bumping that record. I can't wait for you to like drop that verse, man. Blah blah blah. And he hits me back like, this is the red flag. Hey man, I'm like, fuck. I know what that sound is. Hey man. Like, I'm gonna need to charge you, man. You know, normally I charge like 200, 250. I'm gonna need like 120 up out of you. And at this time, I'm like, look, man, I'm strapped for cash right now. I just, you know, we have such a good working relationship, you know. Like, look, like, You don't gotta get on this record. But how about this? I ain't got cash on me right now, but how about can we do something a different way? You know, I make beats and I also engineer. So how about this? For a verse, I'll make you a custom beat. I'll make a custom beat that you like or a beat of your choice. And on top of that, if there's a song that you need mixed and mastered, I'll do that free of charge. A beat, custom made, and a mixing and mastering job. Okay? That's mixing, mastering, and a custom beat. And like, look, I charge for making custom beats, and I'll make some heaters. And so he knows it. And he knows it. But my dude already told me he wouldn't charge me for beats. I mean, he wouldn't charge me for a verse. He probably don't even remember, but I do. Did I call him out on it? Didn't need to. Thing is, you could call him out on it. You could make a big stink about it. And you could burn that bridge. You could fuck around and burn that bridge. And so I thought, you know what? Well, he ended up not getting on the record. I could have made a stink about it, but why? I ended up making a second verse myself. So I got 2 verses, and then I got another dude that I know that's super good, super banging. Bro's a killer MC, and he's on the 3rd verse. I worked it out with another artist. The artist I was already gonna have on it. I just ended up doing this. I ended up doing his, this artist slot. So I got 2 verses for myself, and I got another artist. And the song's still dope. It's still fire. Nothing, I still kept the relationship with this other artist that didn't work out. I was disappointed, but I did not forget how he operates, because he never told me he was going to charge me for the record when I sent it to him. He never said nothing about nothing. It wasn't until way after the fact, until after a few days later, he starts asking me for money and shit. He didn't tell me because I asked him, hey, can you get on this record with me? He was like, for sure, I'm down. Anything for you, bro. Down. Boom. Send it. Bam. A few days later, hey, I need to charge you for this shit, bro. And it's just like, what? Why didn't you tell me that the moment I asked you to get on a record? It feels weird. That felt weird to me. So that is a red flag as far as working relationships is concerned. So I figured, you know what? He's a friend. He's a great collaborator, and I'm gonna tell you, he's talented as fuck. I'm not gonna pay you, bro. Like, I didn't have the money, and I was willing to do a service for service situation. Give you a song that I can make custom made. I can custom make a record for you, and I'll do mixing and mastering on your own songs if you want it, free of charge. And I know mixing and mastering is can be pricey, especially finding a good engineer is that knows what he's doing or knows what she's doing. It's hard to find, because a lot of people who are engineers, some of them, not that good. Finding a reliable one, a real one, is hard to find. And he may have had somebody that he already liked, to do his songs as far as mixing and mastering is concerned. But, I was still willing to do a service for service thing, but it didn't work out. But it is a red flag. I learned a lot about him after that exchange. And sometimes, you learn these things. These are called lessons. And, so I'm like, you know what? Maybe in the future it might work out. Maybe he, he'll change his mind about some shit. But at the end of the day, I ended up doing a second verse. It's fine. So, red flag, man. So yeah, let's move on. But you get what I'm saying. I think rappers and producers should be working together. Artists should be working together Uh, MCs need to be working together. Don't be so fucking greedy. Make a song. Songs are meant to be put out. All right. Number 5. There should be more guitar opportunities on beats. Yeah, there why aren't there more guitars on hip hop records? That's that's strange to me. I think I think there needs to be more guitar on hip hop records. I don't think they're utilized enough. And man, I you know what I think? You know what I think producers are scared of using a lot is horns. Like like trumpets, trombones, tubas. I don't really hear a lot of horns on beats, and I have a theory as to why. And if you use horns, it'll sound real cinematic, and I feel like you can veer off from something dope, and it'll sound too cinematic, it's too movie like. And I think to make them sound good, you gotta make them sound angry. You gotta make them sound sinister if you really want to make horns work. And horns take up the entire spectrum on a beat. You know, you got your drums, got your bass, got your low end covered. But then all the other musical instruments, the synthesizers, the soft synths, the hard synths, the strings, horns will carpet bomb a record. So you have to be picky. And so yeah, I my theory is that horns are not they're you either using them or you're not. They're real. They're in my opinion, you should use saxophones. I think saxophones should be used on records. I think if you're looking for like a wind instrument, like saxophones got to be on records more. I think there needs to be more saxophones. But yes, guitars, I feel like they're underutilized. When's the last record that you've heard? You know, if you're listening now, like let me know in the comments below. What beat? What was the last hip hop record today that has guitars on them? Electric guitar or acoustic? Let me know the song below, and I'll check it out. And we'll do like a part 2 to this video on this topic, and we'll just we'll see some songs or something. We'll play like 2 seconds or whatnot because we don't want to get copyright strike. But or we could just talk about them, you know. But yeah, let me know. Okay. Next topic. Why do beats sound different in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s compared to today? Well, this is a good topic. Listen, it was dirtier times, dustier times, crusty times. Times was of the essence back then. Okay, there wasn't a lot of fancy equipment and a lot of gain. You got to turn up them knobs to really get the sound out, and those SP1200s and those 2 tracks, the tape machines, a lot of it was analog. It sounded real crunchy, some lo-fi, some just real warmth coming out of them old analog machines, and they just sound real crunchy, crusty, and dusty, and they had that crack and sizzle. Today, there's a lot of plugins, a lot of VSTs, those virtual instruments. They don't have, they're not tracked through a cab. They're not mic'd up. I mean, you can find VSTs that have those real world, sampled, emulated shit where you can get it just about 90% of the way there, and you can get like a tape machine plug in to get you there. But there is something about having a real tape machine, having a real Triton soundboard, an SSL board, an API board, those big ass fucking studio, those preamps is what it is, bro. And during that time, it was real crusty, crunchy, dusty, big, bombastic, heavy sounding shit, and they was always cranking them real loud, real high. The loudness wars and all that, they just sounded Like there was just monstrosities. And today, a lot of the sonics are very super produced, very glossy, shiny, clean. I think that's the word, clean. A lot of sounds is clean. And let me know in the comments like what you think, like what you feel about it, because I think it's like, I think today's music is real clean sonically. I think if you're really going to want to get some of that dirty crunchiness, you're going to have to really produce it. You're going to have to be a sound engineer. You're going to have to be you're gonna have to like do some sound design, or say you have some of these machines. If you're lucky enough to have a tape machine and have some of this shit, some of this analog gear, you're lucky. You're lucky. Utilize it as much as you can and whatnot. But as far as today, it sounds real shiny, real clean. Back then it was dirty, crusty, dusty, and bombastic. It was loud as fuck. Today, it's just, you can sound real clean. Sounds really produced. That really produced sound is just clean. It just sounds fresh. It's like a bag of vegetables. Back then it was just potato chips, hot dogs, fucking burgers, fucking sauce, all sauce, and those microphones too. Just I just think it's the sonics within the machines, the preamps, the the 1176s, the fucking Neves, all them shits. They sound real vintage. A lot of them shits were real vintage vibes. I mean, you can get VSTs nowadays, not VSTs. You can get plugins that mimic that type of vibe. Like I recommend Slate Digital. Slate Digital plugins will get you where you need to go if you really want to get that vintage fucking crunch, crunch factor if you want to get there. And then go to kilohertz with a K, like kilo, like a kilo of cocaine, kilohertz. You know what I'm saying? Get the multi-pass plugin, and in that plugin there's something called Destructo, and that is gonna get you that crunch, sizzle, heaviness, weightiness. It's gonna make your drums come to life, and it's gonna sound real. It's gonna sound like from those days. Like if you follow me, you know what I'm talking about, because I'm always using Slate Digital and multipass and kilohertz and all this. I'm always using it on my records. So if you haven't seen it yet, please subscribe, hit the like, the comment, and fucking go on any one of my videos, any of my recent ones, and you'll know what I'm talking about. When it comes to that crunchy, vibey, vintage sound where it sounds huge, massive. And also the Shep's Omni channel is, like, for instance, if you really want it, if you're really looking for that vintage sound, if you really want something that's really massive, and to get you there, within, like, in the neighborhood, the Shep's Omni channel, kilohertz multipass, the virtual mix rack from Slate Digital, and the tape emulation plugin. Get a tape emulator. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Slate. It could be anything. And go and check out some of my videos, and you'll understand. Because I do like beat sessions every week. I live stream, make a beat from scratch, and live every Wednesday, Saturday, or as much as I can. And so just check that out, and you know what I'm talking about. All right, so listen, what's the next one? All right, to fight writer's block. All right, you guys have writer's block? All right, I'm gonna show you the secret. I'm gonna tell you the secret, actually. When it comes to writer's block, beat block, like if you're a beat maker and you have beat maker block, you have like any type of creativity block, this is the key. And we're going to end it with this. Collaboration. All right? Collaborate. All right? It's a few steps. Step 1, collaborate with other artists, collaborate with other producers, collaborate with other music makers. Like I said earlier on this episode, is that you need to collaborate. It is key. And try to collaborate with individuals in person. There is nothing more infectious, more electrifying, You just have to be there in person to understand when it comes to collaborating on a record in person. To have 5 MCs in a room, beat makers in a room, everybody in a room, whether you're a hip hop artist, a beat maker, or maybe you're in a band doing punk rock, heavy metal. Like, imagine being in a metal band and you're not in the same room, and you've got the bass player at his house or in his studio, the lead singer in another studio, the drummer in another studio, and it can work. There's actually there's an actual software now. I forget what it's called, Muse or some shit. You can do like online studio type of sessions with multiple artists and stuff, multiple whatever. But there's something about individuals collaborating in a room together that really produces true magic, and I was blessed enough to be able to experience that. Uh, you know, it's truly magical. There's something that happens when you have individuals that are all firing on all cylinders, working together. It is something truly magical, and you have to be there in person. Nothing beats it. Nothing's quite like it. It's fucking, I would say intimate, and it's like discovering fire for the first time, like real fire, like what I'm saying, like real fire. So, collaborate. Collaboration is key, I would think. Step one. Step two. Say you don't know anyone to collaborate with, and you got to do this solo. All my beat makers and my producers out there, this is what you need to do. Say you're a hip hop head. Say you make strictly only hip hop beats. What you need to do is put it down. Just for now. Don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. This is what you need to do. Try a different genre. Think of it as a exercise. You need to exercise your creativity muscles. See, you've been so ingrained in making hip hop beats and making hip hop records that you've stressed out the creativity muscle in your brain on that particular subject and topic. So make an R&B record. You've never made any R&B record. You've never made a pop record. You've never made a blues record. You never made a jazz record. You never tried your hand at doing something completely different. For example, try this. You're a hip hop head. Make a blues record. Try to make something blues. You can sample something blues. Try to make something completely bluesy or jazzy. If you're a hip hop head and you're having issues making, say you're making say you make only trap music. Make a blues beat or a blues song. Make a jazz song, or make a country record. Try to make a country record. And by doing this, it steps you out of your box. That means there's the bar is already low, and you won't be disappointed, because there are countless times when you're just in a session and you're 4 hours, 6 hours in, and you haven't gone nowhere. So just chalk up as, I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna make a hip hop record today. I'm gonna try to make a completely different song. Do a classical song. Try to do something classical. And once you've made something, you can look at it, listen to it, and be like, damn, this is kind of cool. Then this is the next step. Sample it. Make a hip hop beat out of that. There are ways, my friends. There are ways to defeat writer's block. Beatmaker's block. Alright? Now, for instance, like songwriting. Don't know what to write about? Come on. Everybody's been there. Don't know what to write about? Go for a walk. Don't bring your phone. Turn it off. If you gotta bring your phone, just turn it off. Take every distracting thing. Just rid yourself from anything that distracts you. In fact, you need to go back to 90s shits. Alright? And what I mean is, if you're not born in the 90s or born in the 80s or born in the 70s, you don't understand what I'm talking about, take a 90s shit. means take a shit with no phone. Like, have no phone and take a shit, take a dump. Or go for a walk, go for a run with no music. Or take a bus with no destination. Waiting for the bus is going to give you so many opportunities to write, and I'll tell you why. Because you're going to see things. It's like this, watch. Your head's been down the whole entire time. You've been in the studio for too long. Your head's been down, you've been cranking shit out, and you've been trying to squeeze that creativity lemon, and it turned into a stone, and you can't produce. You've been in a bubble. You've been in your cave for too long. So what do? Get out of your cave, go for a walk, go for a run, go work out, go outside, go experience something, go date a girl, get dumped, or dump her, come back with material. But what you need to do is travel. What you need to do is get yourself involved in shit. Do something. You need to shake the, you need to shake everything about you off. You need to just be like, nah. So for me, I'll just take a bus. I'll have my phone off. I'll bring a pen and a notepad. Go old school. Pen and a notepad. All right. It's just not having anything distracting you except just that pen and that notepad, and you'll see things. You'll see things that inspire you. And it's going to help you write. Okay? It's going to help you write. You're going to find ideas real quick. It's pretty simple. Just think about it. A lot of great songs were figured out while someone was taking a shit. Like, have you ever taken a shit and your phone was dead and you didn't have your phone? Say you forgot your phone. Like, say like you're playing a game, or you're in the studio and like you had to go take a dump and you're like, fuck, I fucking forgot my phone. What am I gonna do? You're gonna take a 90s shit. And what happens when you take a 90s shit? You start humming. You start trying to figure out a way to fill the silence that's in the air with sound. And a lot of people will sing in the shower. A lot of people will sing on the toilet. Some people will rap on the toilet. People making songs on the toilet. And you thought of an idea, the idea will come to you. The muse will arrive when you're not distracted with all of this shit that's in front of you right now. All right. Let me know in the comments below what you think of, what we talked about here today. I'm really curious, like, how do you guys conquer writer's block, beatmaker's block? Like, what do you guys do? Like, if you have beatmaker's block, if you have creativity block, whatever it is, how do you defeat it? Is it something like similar to what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments below. And out of all the topics, let me know what you think about the topics that we discussed today. Tell me, do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you think I'm full of shit? Do you not like what I'm talking about? I'm curious. Let me know. Just speak your mind. This is where it's at. This is the first type of episode discussing topics like this. Normally I'm just cooking up a beat and whatnot, and so I decided to try this out. I'm gonna do this every now and then. Let me know if you guys like this type of stuff. I'll try to fit more of this type of dialogue, opinion pieces. What I think about things. Or let me know. All right, y'all. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is First We Beatz, where beats get made. I just cook up. Normally I just cook up beats and show you what I do. This is a place where people can come and learn and discuss ideas for beat making, songwriting. If you're new to making beats and you want to learn how to get better, or you're just here for the vibes, this is the place to be. This channel is growing, and to all the new subscribers that have subscribed, welcome. Appreciate y'all for real. Welcome to the First We Beatz family. I will see y'all next time. I'm guessing maybe tomorrow or Monday or ish. I'm gonna try to do a live stream. Normally I do it on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I wasn't able to get some shit done last week because I had exams. I had to do a lot of studying. I had to get a lot of shit done. And life shit. And sometimes that shit happens. Life shit happens. And now that I've passed the exams, yay for me. Let's go. The exams was basically, I moved to Sweden and everything, so I had to go to this Swedish school for immigrants and whatnot. So I had to like learn a whole second language, which was pretty cool. That's interesting. You know, I'm from Los Angeles. I've born and raised in LA my whole entire life, and here I am living in Sweden. Jesus, I'm like a fish out of water out here. Speaking native. Anyway, yeah. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for tuning in to First We Beatz. I'm your host, the Rinnegan, aka Rinnegan. Oh, do not forget, in the description, there's going to be a link to one of my songs that's off an album that I'm putting out later on this year. It's called Smoke in the Mirror. It's a dope hip-hop record, and I hope y'all check that out. It's on my Bandcamp already, so if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. There's also a video on my channel as well if you want to see it. It's not like a music video or nothing, but if you want to listen to it on my channel, the song's there too. Or if you want to go cop it right now, you want to go grab it, support your boys, support the channel, support the movement, go to my Bandcamp page. It's in the link in the description. Alright, y'all. Please subscribe or not. It's all good. No worries. You're just here for the vibes. That's cool. Alright, y'all. I'm out. I appreciate y'all very much. See y'all next time. Deuces.
Candle in the dark, I write verses on the floorboards. Basement cathedral where I pray with the warlords. Heart like a lock vault, mind like a trapdoor. Open it too quick, now you drifting into rap lore. Each breath a ritual, play tongue is my holy script. Car songs in the wind, every scar's got a coded script. Body bag sonnets, I compose them in the back room with chalk and perfume. I paint death in the